South Jersey's official play-by-play home of the Eagles, Sixers, and Flyers.
At 0 point would I ever consider not being a fan of the team.
97.3 ESPN, WENJ, WENJ HD, Millville, Atlantic City. A Town Square media station serving all of South Jersey.
The opinions expressed are not those of Town Square Media or
Finally!
Hanging with Hennig.
I have friends everywhere.
On 97.3 ESPN Radio, South Jersey.
In New Jersey. Am I right? Yeah.
Live feed on the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City.
It seems to run on some form of electricity.
Well, you're not wrong.
Streaming live on YouTube, Instagram, and the X platform.
The internet is a communications tool used the world over where people can come together.
Now, here's your host.
He's not gone. That's the whole point. He's never gone.
Josh Hennig.
It only seemed appropriate that I start the show with the Real American, the song for the Hulkster back in the 80s. American 250, July 4th. Hope everyone's being safe out there. Josh Hennig Power Hour here on 97.3 ESPN FM, the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Sea Isle. Streaming live on YouTube and X at Josh Hennig. Hope everyone's staying safe out there. It is hot. Everyone's staying hydrated. Get your electrolytes, get your liquids, get your everything in your system because America. In all seriousness, we got a lot to get to on the show today on 97.3 ESPN. Coming up, we get the Power Hour. So that means you got a small window to join the conversation at 609-403-0973. Phillies weekend in Kansas City. We'll talk about the Phillies a little bit this hour, plus some thoughts on the Sixers and Flyers week. I know that the Leo Carlson deal is not a done deal. I know it's Anaheim has a few days to match the offer. As of right now, it's 6 days. It was 7 days yesterday. Now it's 6, so the countdown is on. But we'll get that. Plus, our question of the day. 609-403-0973. That is the text board. We are streaming live on YouTube and X. You can join the conversation there. The question of the day: who are your top 5 greatest U.S. athletes of all time? And you can make your list however you want. You want to make it American excellence. You want to make it American history. You want to make it just who your 5 favorite athletes in terms of moments are. Whatever you want to make the list. Tell me your list. Tell me why. America 250. Give me your 5 greatest USA athletes. 609-403-0973. We're streaming live on YouTube and X in the Dr. Squatch virtual studio, so you could join the conversation there as well. I'll give you my 5 at the end of the hour. But right now, I want to hear from you guys at 609-403-0973. In a very, very minor move, the Phillies have traded a minor league pitcher, Ryan Deggs, to the Cleveland Guardians for international bonus pool money, which means that with the draft coming up and with the international window opening up again, I think it's fair to say that the Phillies are they're really trying to build their farm system. That's really what that means. But all right, let's get to the sports because, and not that, the Phillies make a trade sports, but actually it has no consequence on the team right now. Phillies this weekend, they are in Kansas City. No, it was so weird not having a game last night. I don't know how everybody else felt. It was just so odd to not have a game on a Friday night again. But Phillies are in Kansas City for a 3-game set, and they're basically on the road until the end of the season. So they will not be back home until after the All-Star break. So the next time you see the Phillies back in Philadelphia, it will be for the All-Star game festivities. And we'll be finding out today and tomorrow who is going to be on the roster, who has a chance to make the roster. And we were talking about this with Jeff Kerr yesterday on Phillies Fastball here on 97.3 ESPN. And shout out to everyone at Boulevard Super Liquors. What an amazing day yesterday. We had a great time down there at Boulevard Super Liquors, getting you ready for July 4th weekend. Shout out to Dave Jr., everyone down there at Boulevard Super Liquors, our entire team, for making sure we were taken care of. And, shout out to so many amazing people who stopped by. Jason from Douglas Candies, Damon and Melissa from Holiday Coffee, also Todd and Megs from Cilantro Organic Tequila, as well as Katie from Fruit of the Spirits. Just an amazing cast of people. And, Mike Carlin and I, we were kind of carrying you through the three hours, filling the void of no sports bash for happy hour Friday. So everyone's being safe out there and enjoying their weekend. But back to the Phillies, we talked about this yesterday with Jeff Kerr about there's probably going to be 5 All-Stars, right? And not that the 5 All-Stars necessarily specifically who they are matter, but I think it's an interesting conversation because of the fact that when you think about the Phillies moving forward, they're going to get a handful of All-Stars just because they're in Philadelphia, right? There's going to be a cluster of All-Stars just because they're in Philly. But my question is, how many should there be? And I think that's where the rub is, because I was listening to a couple people debating over the weekend, last night and then this morning about how who should or shouldn't make the All-Star team. And I think part of the problem for the Phillies is that because they started the year so horribly, the 9-19 start, it gets overlooked how they bounced back. And I think that how they bounced back is just as important as what they did to start the year. Typically, All-Star voting it's the fans. The fans pick who they like. And so, for whatever reason, the fans really only like a couple of Phillies at this point. Bryce Harper is not as popular as he used to be. Kyle Schwarber just can't beat out Ohtani in the DH voting. Brandon Marsh is probably going to be a starter because he's one of only a few outfielders having a good year in the National League. And the reason why Bohm was in the running at third base is because the National League is thin at third base as well. Now, Bryce Harper should make the team. He's having a great year. Maybe not an elite year, but a great year. So Schwarber's going to make the team. Sanchez is making the team. Duran's making the team. You already have 4. So Harper, Schwarber, Sanchez, Duran. Marsh is going to make the team. Now you already have 5. So how many more after that? Does Alec Boehm get consideration in votes because he's basically having this crazy stretch from May 2nd to now? Does Zach Wheeler get consideration because since he returned from thoracic outlet syndrome surgery, is that 5 times fast? Zach Wheeler, he's been great. And so for me, I said it yesterday, I'll say it again here on Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN, the Power Hour. Josh Hennig hanging out with you in the 97.3 ESPN studios. My perfect scenario for the All-Star game. Schwarber wins the home run derby Monday night. Sanchez starts the game on Tuesday. Zach Wheeler comes in after him for the second inning. So Sanchez, first inning, Wheeler, second inning. Duran's the closer. Mizorowski is the setup man in the 8th for Duran. That would be my all-star wish list at this point. Everything else, we can just fill in the gaps. But like I said, the thing with the Phillies is that how do you differentiate when it comes to picking these guys over other players? And part of the reason why I bring up Bohm is because for as much as many of us have been exhausted and exasperated with him on numerous levels, okay? For as frustrating as he is at times, unlike Trey Turner, Alec Boehm has maintained his defense no matter if he's hitting well or not. Trey Turner apparently is the most emotionally led individual on the planet Earth when it comes to hitting a baseball. But when you look at Alec Boehm, you could make an argument that he should be in this conversation. His 45 RBI is on pace to have way more than he did last year. He is on pace for 100 RBI right now. And frankly, there's a ton of third basemen who are having a much better year statistically than he is at this point. You could literally have a two-time All-Star in Alec Boehm. He is the second most RBI among all National League third basemen. His 10 home runs, which Boehm is not a big home run hitter, it's the fourth most among National League third basemen. And here's even the crazier part. Alec Boehm right now, and again, it's July 4th, so the stats can change in the next week or change. Alec Boehm currently has 68 hits on the year. There's only 4 third basemen in all the National League that have more hits. And that's considering Alec Boehm had one of the worst months of April I've ever seen. So Alec Boehm might be in this conversation. So there is a real possibility the Phillies get 6-7 guys for the All-Star game at the bank. Something to keep in mind as we progress through the weekend. And of course, Phillies and Kansas City. Some interesting pitching matchups for the Phillies. Phillies are going against a Kansas City team that has been very underwhelming this year. Kansas City is not the team that they should be in terms of their roster construction. But Luzardo versus Waka tonight, that's a good matchup for the Phillies because, again, no lefty tonight, but you got your lefty on the mound. That's a big part of the conversation. And Waka's a good pitcher, not a great pitcher. So, in theory, you should be able to take advantage of him. Tomorrow afternoon's game, the Royals are sending Luender Avila to the mound. Again, a right-handed pitcher, so that plays in your favor as well. What doesn't play in your favor is Aaron Nola is on the mound for the Phillies. So, good luck with that tomorrow afternoon. Monday afternoon, you got Christopher Sanchez going for the Phillies. So that should be a win for you. But the Royals are throwing a lefty as well, Noah Cameron. So we'll see how the weekend goes. But if you look ahead, the Phillies should be able to get 2 out of 3 in Kansas City if all the pieces line up. And then you go to Cincinnati for 3 games and then travel to Detroit for 3 games. And you look at the pictures along the way, right? It doesn't exactly get easier for the Phillies in terms of the pitching because they got Andrew Abbott scheduled for Tuesday. Burns, the stud for the Reds, is scheduled for Wednesday. It's Zach Wheeler versus Tariq Skubal next Sunday is the scheduled matchup. So you got some tough matchups in the Reds and this Tigers series. So to me, it's even more important for them to try to get 2 out of 3 in Kansas City because the games in Cincinnati and Detroit, there are no gimmies. Frankly, the Tigers are throwing their 3 best pitchers at you. Flaherty, Mize, and Skubal. You got 2 of the 3 best Reds pitchers in that series. So, to me, I look at this weekend at Kansas City as you got to get the job done in KC because you don't know how the series are going to go in the 2 series after that. Text board is open, 609-403-0973. Let's see here. Steven EHC says Phillies All-Stars are easy to me. It's Schwarber, Harper, Marsh, Wheeler, Sanchez, Duran. If anyone else makes it, it's simply ballot stuffing. Well, it can't be ballot stuffing, Steve, because there's no more voting anymore. The voting's done. In fact, you could argue Philly fans failed at ballot stuffing because the only person in line to start the game in the field is Brandon Marsh. Philly fans dropped the ball. There's no reason why there should be just Marsh and Sanchez starting in the game, but that's probably what's going to happen. So no ballot stuffing. From this point forward, it's going to be managers, players, and the commissioner picking who's who. And the fans will probably vote for like the last spot on the roster, which might have a Philly, but I think that a Philly is going to come down to whoever doesn't get the initial pick. I don't know if Bowman's having the worst year of his career, though. I see what you're trying to say, Steve, okay? I'm not being absurd about Bowman. I just gave you the stats, all right? It doesn't matter what stat you want to throw at me, okay? When a guy is among the top 5 at his position in the National League, he's going to get consideration. Doesn't mean he's my choice. It just means that he is in the conversation. My goodness. All right. We'll check back the text board in just a bit at 609-403-0973. We will get also later this hour my thoughts on the Flyers and Sixers, Phillies All-Stars, plus your top 5 greatest Americans on the weekend of July 4th weekend, America 250. Hang with Hennig, Power Hour today on 97.3 ESPN FM, the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank, CL. And as always, Hang with Hennig being brought to you in part by Boulevard Super Liquors. We were just there yesterday. We gave away Devontae Smith's signed helmet along with gift baskets from Douglas Candies, from Holiday Coffee, and other great prizes yesterday. Also, Salento Organic Tequila gave away a little gift bag. So we're so thankful to everybody who came out, stopped by, signed up to win the prizes. Congratulations to all the winners. I already called them yesterday. Your next opportunity to win prizes with Hanging with Hennig, broadcasting live from Boulevard Super Liquors on Roosevelt Boulevard at the foot of the Ocean City 34th Street Bridge, will be the weekend of Night in Venice. We will be partnering again with Bird Gang Spirits. More details to come about giveaways and festivities that day. But don't forget, if you're stocking up for 4th of July or any summer parties coming up, whatever you got going on, Boulevard Super Liquors is my go-to, and they should be yours as well. The best selection of beer, wines, tequila, vodka, anything you need, Boulevard Super Liquors has it right there on Roosevelt Boulevard. A quick trip from exit 25 on the Garden State Parkway. And thanks to them for helping sponsor Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN. Coming up on the other side, one of my other sponsors who help bring Hanging with Hennig each week here on 97.3 ESPN is Ivy Rehab. The Ivy Rehab Injury Report, a special edition of the Ivy Rehab Injury Report, is coming up next. And then we'll back to your texts as well. 609-403-0973. Hang with Hennig, coming to you live from the 97.3 ESPN Studios, America 250, July 4th weekend, 97.3 ESPN.
A Major League Baseball 4th of July doubleheader. First in Seattle, the Mariners face the Toronto Blue Jays.
Absolute no doubter to left for Vladimir Guerrero Jr.
Then at Wrigley, the Chicago Cubs go head-to-head with the St. Louis Cardinals.
God! Second 3-run homer for Ian Happ today.
The Blue Jays and Mariners at 3:30 Eastern, followed by the Cardinals and Cubs. A 4th of July doubleheader.
Listen to Major League Baseball all season on 97.3 ESPN.
From summer parties to beach days, the dinners at your favorite BYOB restaurant, the one stop where I go for every occasion is Boulevard Super Liquors. Located on Roosevelt Boulevard at the foot of the Ocean City 34th Street Bridge, Boulevard Super Liquors has the best selection of craft beer, whiskey, vodka, wines, and tequila in all of South Jersey. Plus, just minutes from Garden State Parkway X25, so you can easily stop into Boulevard Super Liquors as you travel to your destination. Family owned and operated for 4 generations, Boulevard Super Liquors also has the largest temperature-controlled wine room in New Jersey, offering you the best selection of wines for your next dinner date or social outing. These are just some of the reasons why Boulevard Super Liquors is the best at the Jersey Shore. Visit them on Instagram and Facebook to learn more about upcoming tasting events. Boulevard Super Liquors on Roosevelt Boulevard at the foot of the Ocean City 34th Street Bridge. The best selection of beer and spirits in South Jersey.
Making your home look brand new is what Work of Art Construction can do for you. Ready to remodel your bathroom or have a kitchen makeover? Art Masker has 40 years of experience in construction and knows how to make your home look like a work of art. Want to install a new back deck or invest in a new front door? Just call Art Masker at 609-788-4271 to learn more. Visit Work of Art Construction on Instagram to see how Work of Art Construction can make your home look brand new. Beautify your home with Work of Art. Call him at 609-788-4271 and let them make your home truly a work of art.
Ready to order?
Yes. We're earning unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with the Capital One Saver card. So let's just get one of everything.
Everything?
Fire everything. The Capital One Saver card is at table 27 and they're earning unlimited 3% cash back.
Yes, Chef! This is so nice.
Had a feeling you'd want 3% cash back on dessert.
Ooh, tiramisu.
Earn unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with the Capital One Saver card. Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Summer's here and the heat is on. Attila's Gyms has got you covered with top-tier equipment and their legendary old-school vibe. Whether you're hitting the beach or hitting a personal record, they've got everything you need to stay strong while on vacation. And best of all, no contracts, just fitness on your terms. With 5 convenient locations, Wildwood, Sea Isle, Ocean City, Egg Harbor, and Galloway, your next workout is minutes away. Join Attila's Gyms today. Back to school starts now. Get long-lasting battery life on the Dell XPS laptop powered by Series 3 Intel Core so you can work from anywhere. Now starting at $699 with exclusive student pricing starting at $599. Complete your setup with savings on select monitors and must-have electronics and accessories. Limited time deals and free shipping on PCs and more await you at Dell.com/deals. That's Dell.com/deals.
Recovering from an addiction is an individual accomplishment. A young mother who chose recovery to care for her family. A high school athlete overcoming opioid addiction. A couple celebrating his recovery. Everyone's recovery is different, and there's no shame in asking for help. Call 844-REACH-NJ. Trained counselors are available 24/7 to help you find the recovery option that's best for you. Tell us your story, and let's begin your recovery today. A message from New Jersey Human Services.
They call this one Bill.
Whoa, aliens? Am I in a spaceship?
Affirmative, Bill.
What's with the laser saw?
Relax. We are cutting our bill in half.
What?
An Xfinity mobile transmission says you can cut your bill in half.
Oh, your mobile bill, not me, Bill.
Xfinity Mobile also says we can try it free for a year. Free.
Yes, with no commitment. Can we put the saw away?
I am reluctant. But we will find another being to bisect.
That's not sci-fi. It's Xfinity Mobile. Xfinity Internet members cut your mobile bill in half. Plus, try Xfinity Mobile free for a year. No commitment. Learn more at xfinitymobile.com. Xfinity. Imagine that. Restrictions apply. Xfinity Internet required. Savings compares one line of Xfinity Mobile Select to comparable plans from T-Mobile, Verizon, and AT&T as of 3/24/26. Taxes, fees, extra. $30 monthly discount limited to new mobile customers only. After 12 months, regular rates apply.
Party at your place this summer? Fix things up inside and out with July 4th deals now at Lowe's. Get up to 45% off select major appliances and save up to an additional 25% off when you bundle select major appliances. Plus, save $80 on the select Charbroil Performance Series gas grill, now $299. Our best lineup is here at Lowe's. Valid through 7/8 while supplies last. Selection varies by location. See Lowe's.com for more details.
For over 135 years, First Bank of Sea Isle City has proudly served Cape May County with a commitment to maintaining a hometown feel. We provide secure, convenient deposit and loan products every day. We're more than just a bank. We're a trusted community partner, offering personalized banking solutions that make life easier for local families of all ages. First Bank of Sea Isle City, Look for our lighthouse in your neighborhood and discover what makes us different.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Now back to Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN FM.
I don't want them to gain another yard.
And on the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City.
You blitz all night.
Streaming live on YouTube, Instagram, and the X platform.
Josh Hennig back here on 97.3 ESPN, but I'm not in the 97.3 ESPN studios. If you're watching on YouTube at X, you will see that I am actually at the Ivy Rehab K-Bay Courthouse facility with Dr. Josh Lamb. Of course, Ivy Rehab Physical Therapy Centers with over 80 locations around South Jersey, soon to open in Ventnor Heights this fall. Best-in-class outpatient physical therapy. Dr. Josh, how you doing today?
I'm doing very well, Josh. I appreciate you having me on again. It's wonderful to be here and excited to talk about some injuries and help people feel better along their fitness and health journey.
So I think one of the interesting things about, we were talking for months about how Ivy Rehab is my physical therapy, but we haven't actually talked about what I came here for. And I think that my injury is something that a lot of people can identify with. It was a fluke thing, and I fell. I hurt myself. I wasn't doing anything drastic. I wasn't parkouring. I wasn't doing, I wasn't spelunking up a mountain. I was at the beach, right? It's the summertime. People go to the beach. Accidents happen. And, for full disclosure, so no one gets in trouble, right? I fully waive my HIPAA, whatever the legalese is. But so for those who don't know, I had two injuries at the same time. It was like a simultaneous bang, bang situation, which Dr. Josh, you will get into the complications of managing a patient with two injuries. So I had a issue with one of the discs in my neck, which was causing a lot of nerve pain. It was just shooting out. And then I simultaneously had a shoulder injury, but it was very specifically the front part of the shoulder. It wasn't the full rotator cuff. So, first of all, Dr. Josh, get into when a patient like me walks in with multiple issues, right? One issue more in one area, another issue, another area, but they're still kind of in the same region. What does a physical therapist think about when they're dealing with that kind of situation?
It's very important that we do a thorough evaluation of both parts and kind of assess what the interdependency is between those two segments and how they interact. What may have led to one leading to the other, or maybe they happen concurrently at the same time, separate, but they're starting to affect each other. So these are things that we all want to really think about. The neck and the shoulder in particular are particularly grouped together. There's a lot of musculature that connects to both the shoulder and the neck, particularly the shoulder blade, up to the neck and even to the head, which is going to affect the posture of the neck, the posture of the upper back, the position and control of the shoulder. They all really feed off each other and work together in a lot of ways. So I often say, neck issues and shoulder issues really often go hand in hand, and it's almost impossible to treat one without working the other to some degree.
And the unique thing for me is that the major strain to my neck was the right side of my neck, but it was my left shoulder. So there were many days I came in here and it was like, okay, we're going to start doing some shoulder work. Then we're going to go to the neck. Then we're going to do things kind of like all together. So it was almost like a lot of times when I came to Ivy, for you guys, what you guys put me through was kind of like a three-step process almost, where it was like, okay, step one, we're kind of activating everything. Step two, we're going to isolate. And step three, we're kind of bring it all together. Is that like a good way to summarize it?
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the things we really look at with the neck, not only the musculature, as I was talking about before, but also how are the nerves being affected, especially if there's any kind of disc injury. Those intervertebral discs are soft cartilaginous tissue that has a gelatinous inner portion. And if that is injured and can start protruding out, it can be pushed out towards the nerves. The nerve roots, that's the part of the nerve that branches out from the spinal cord itself. Think of almost like branches from a tree, the spinal cord being like the trunk and the branches being those nerves. Those nerve roots are where it comes out of that trunk of the spinal cord itself. And that happens right next to where those discs are. And if those discs are injured, they're protruding, they're swollen, they're degenerate in some way that's causing them to pressure down on those nerves, it's going to significantly affect what's going on down the arm. And that's often one of the first steps we want to make sure that we address, getting the nerve pain, the nerve impingement, that nerve injury under control, because everything else is going to be severely affected by that. Not only the pain, but the control of the muscles of the neck, of the shoulder. And if we don't address that nerve and get the pressure off of it so it can get that signal through appropriately, there's only going to be so much that we can do for the shoulder itself.
I think it's a point because I've talked numerous times right here on the Ivy Rehab Injury Report on 97.3 ESPN. We've talked about the checkpoints, and I love the checkpoints because it's an easy way for people to understand that, whatever your injury is, especially when it's a layered, nuanced injury like mine was, okay, first thing, like you said, let's get the nerve issue under control. And I had nerve pain shooting down my arms. It was like irradiating in my neck. And so for you and your staff, you guys were like, okay, let's focus on getting that handled first before we deal with all the other stuff. And it's not that you want to ignore the other stuff, right? But it's the idea that, hey, listen, the neck and the shoulder, they're functional. It's not like I was like completely, I was like in a cast or something, but there was obviously a pain management that had to be dealt with first.
Absolutely. Yeah. And once we get that pain more under control, then we can start addressing more of the musculoskeletal side of things. Not that we ignore that early on. We can do pain modulation techniques. We can do modalities like heat or ice when necessary. We can do manual therapies, massage. There's different techniques with cupping or dry needling that are options in certain situations, all depending. And we can help improve the tone of the muscles, reduce any spasm, reduce any pain, and help things move better, stretch maybe out what's tight. But addressing that nerve pain first can be really, really vitally important. Once that is starting to improve significantly, then start targeting more intensive strengthening, not only of the shoulder, but also the neck itself. Because when we have a disc injury, there can be a decrease of stability at that segment. The disc will work towards healing. There is a little bit of a misconception that invertebral discs never heal. They do. They heal as best they can. But like any other part of our body, healing may not be totally perfect. Even a small cut in your skin can leave a small scar.
Well, really quickly, for example, one of the things that I've been told by people who are much smarter than me in the medical field is they always describe it as you have it 100% before like a major injury, right? That 100% will never be achieved again. So now you have a new 100%. So maybe your new 100% is like 98% of what you used to be. Is that like a good way of like kind of like framing it?
That's a fantastic way of looking at it. And invertebral discs themselves in particular, bulging discs, sometimes people think that that's almost like a quote unquote death sentence for your spine. Like, oh, I've got a bulging disc, I've got a herniated disc, it's over. But that's not the case. It's very much not. It's been shown very clearly that when they do many months later imaging, MRIs and studies, they see a significant reduction of bulging, a significant reduction in herniations as time goes on, even up to 80-90% reduction in that, so long as the body is allowed to go through the process of healing. And that's really what we do in physical therapy, medicine in general. We don't create healing. The body heals itself. We help create an optimal environment that the body can heal itself. So if we are allowing the body to have the mobility, have the blood flow, have the strength, have the stability in order to provide that environment so the body can heal, it really very much can. Now, just like other injuries that sometimes do need more aggressive treatments, surgeries, whatnot, if you have a really large cut in your skin, you might need stitches, and that's perfectly appropriate, but not every cut needs stitches. Intervertebral disc injuries, some herniations, some bulges, they are severe enough, they are intense enough, they are problematic enough that sometimes they do need surgery, but the vast majority of them don't. The vast majority of these disc injuries are able to heal and recover conservatively, and with providing the proper environment like we do at Ivy Rehab Physical Therapy, providing the tools necessary for the body in order to heal itself makes all the difference.
Now, I think the next thing is once we got the pain for me we got that managed, we got that under control. There was a point that, I didn't fully understand when I first came into Ivy that you guys kept drilling into me, which is you guys were like, okay, we got to get the range of motion back for the shoulder and the neck separately. So explain to the audience, like, what does it mean when it comes to an injury? Why is it so important for the next checkpoint to be the range of motion?
So if you start strengthening too early and there's a lack of mobility, and it might not be total mobility, but there may be some segments, maybe some segments of the neck, some parts of the shoulder. It's important to understand that the shoulder is actually a complex of joints. It's not just the arm bone connecting to the shoulder blade, but there's the collarbone. There's the collarbone attached to the sternum. There's the shoulder blade and its connection to the thoracic spine and the ribs. All of these things interact. And if some of those segments aren't moving through their full range of motion, we can start causing things like impingement or other injurious movements that are rubbing or irritating or pulling on areas that really shouldn't be. And if we create optimal mobility throughout the whole segment, all the segments of the neck, the ribs, the shoulder blade, the collarbone, the arm bone, everything moving well, and then you strengthen through that appropriate and controlled range of motion, that's when we were able to truly return to a good level of function and do the things we want to do, particularly in more end range type positions, overhead with the shoulder, with the head looking up or down or left or right at the extreme end ranges. If there's if it's limited in any of those segments, that can start leading to problems down the road.
And that limiting is, just to clarify for the audience, it's not just muscular sometimes, it's also pain, right? So it's like maybe the muscle is still able to get there, but now getting there, there's a little bit of pain still. That there's like another layer to the pain management, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And sometimes in the neck in particular, there's a lot of joints that run down the column of the neck, called them facet joints. If any one of them gets a little bit hung up or tight or stuck, we can mobilize that. Sometimes there's a bit of a misconception that we're like realigning the spine. That's not really true. If there was a true dislocation of your facet joints, that's a true medical emergency. But when we mobilize, if there's a manipulation, cracking your neck or whatever, with a physical therapist, mobilizations, stretches, all that is to help improve the mobility and control of those facets. And even if it's just one of those segments of many that's locked up or tight, that can start to lead to dysfunction and pain, and that can kind of have a snowball effect. So absolutely want to get everything moving optimally.
Talking with Dr. Josh Lamb. We are live here at the Ivy Rehab Physical Therapy Center down here at Cape May Courthouse. Again, as I always say, on 97.3 ESPN, over 18 locations around South Jersey. They're my physical therapists. Talk about my personal experience with Ivy Rehab, because again, I fell at the beach. It wasn't like I was doing anything crazy. I wasn't, I didn't get into a street fight with 5 people. I literally fell at the beach, So it's something that can happen to anyone. It can happen this weekend. July 4th weekend, someone can fall at the beach. Now they got to call the Ivy Rehab Physical Therapy and come in to get checked out. So let's finish on the shoulder before we move back to the neck, because part of my process was the shoulder got better before the neck. So one of the things that you said to me is you got to work on the other muscles, not just the specific area that was injured, which was for me the front of the shoulder. So one of the points that you brought up to me, and again, I have a background as a personal trainer and nutritionist, and even I didn't think of this because, again, I'm in pain. I'm so focused on this is really driving me nuts. Mm-hmm. So I had some clarity when you brought to me and you said, hey, I want you to go back to the gym, but I want you to work on the back muscles. I want you to work on the opposite muscles of the part that's hurting you. So explain to the audience why a part of physical therapy is not just developing and re-strengthening the area that was injured, but also re-strengthening the opposite muscles as well.
The shoulder is a very interesting example of this because the shoulder moves in a very large arc of motion. It's a very complicated joint. Like I said, a lot of moving parts, and no muscle can create the type of rotation that the shoulder really needs on its own. Every muscle pulls inward on itself. It pulls basically in a straight line. There are some muscles with fibers that go at multiple angles, so they can have a little bit of a differentiation depending on the exact angle of those fibers. But for the most part, a muscle is going to pull in one line of direction, and we need what are called force couples. That's one muscle pulling up at one angle, the other muscle pulling down at a different angle, and as they create that multiple angle of pull, those force vectors create a rotation, and that rotation is so important in order to create proper shoulder control. And that's not only rotation of the humerus, the arm bone, it's going to be the shoulder blade, the scapula needing to upwardly rotate. If that's not working the way that it's supposed to, it's going to cause issues. Things are going to start translating and moving in ways that they're not supposed to. If part of that force couple is way stronger than another part, it's going to favor towards that direction, and that's going to impair or impede the ability to move properly.
Or create a new injury.
Exactly, or create a new injury. So having good balance through all those muscles, and there's many muscles that pull in a lot of different directions. And so what I like to say is, whatever direction you're exercising, always exercise the opposite, especially around the shoulder. I shouldn't even say that. Every joint, every muscle area, always do the opposites. For every push, there's a pull. For every bend, there's a straighten. We want to do both directions at all times at a fairly equal volume. Now, it's not uncommon. You go to the gym, you see people doing a lot of pressing type exercises. We tend to be stronger with pressing. It seems to be more of a fun movement for a lot of people. Pulling tends to be a little bit harder, maybe not quite as fun, but the total volume between those two exercises should be about equivalent. So if you're pushing 100 pounds for 2 sets of 10 repetitions, if you can pull 100 pounds for 2 sets of 10 repetitions, or something equivalent. If you're not strong enough to do that, maybe you can only pull 50 pounds. Well, then maybe you should do 4 sets of 10 repetitions. So it's twice as many sets, half as much weight. So the total volume kind of equalizes out. And that is a good strategy in order to maximize the health of the joints. And this isn't just pushing and pulling. That's just one example. You want to do that with basically any direction of movement that the body does.
Right. Like, for example, just to use a completely different part of the body, you know, I injured my knee years ago. I'm infamous for all my injuries on 97.3 ESPN, and I played sports when I was younger. So I was a little reckless. And, you know, one of the things that I learned is you got to work the hamstring. You got to develop the hamstring. So now it supports the knee better. So now that when you're recovered, now you have more strength all around the knee, not just specifically the knee. So that's another area where it's like people might not think, hey, for the knee, like the shoulder, the back is just as important. The hamstring is just as important. So it's just other muscles that kind of work together, as you said.
Exactly. And that's a really good example too, with the quadriceps in the front of the thigh, the hamstring in the back of the thigh, straightening the knee and bending the knee respectively. They need to be at a somewhat equivalent level of strength in order for the knee to work properly and to reduce the risk of injury. That's actually one of the qualifications we look for when determining whether an athlete's ready to return to sports, say after an ACL surgery. Is the hamstring relatively nearly as strong as the quad, and is that symmetry right side to left side as well, about equal as well? It's not the only thing we look at, but it's definitely something we look at. We want to make sure we have a good, what we call quad to hamstring ratio. The ratio of strength between the two muscles should be at a certain point before we start even considering returning to sport. So that's a great example.
So now, mention the checkpoint. So for me, the first thing was get the pain managed. The next thing was range of motion. Okay. Well, then the range of motion came back, but I still wasn't 100%. I still wasn't where I needed to be physically. So then when you have a patient like myself who, you know, I'll admit I was a little frustrated. I was like, I got the range of motion back in my neck, got the range of motion back in the shoulder, but the pain, there's still some lingering musculature pain. So then what is the next step? When first we got the main pain, then the range of motion, then what does Ivy Rehab do next?
So one of the next things we're going to be working on is progressive resistance exercises. We want to build progressive strength over time, progressive overload, where we gradually work to get stronger and stronger in all the different planes of motion, not just forward and back, side to side, rotation, all the different muscles. So that progressive overload, where we gradually increase the strength and intensity over time, not only builds the strength, meaning that we can move more external load, it builds more resiliency in the body. It builds more toughness, more tolerance to stress. It helps fortify bones. It helps fortify joints, ligaments, tendons, all of the above. And it helps us to tolerate functional activities better. Over time, it actually retrains the nervous system as well. The nervous system becomes more resilient to stress as well, where it knows, hey, I can tolerate this much load. I don't need to send a pain response or process a pain response to that activity, because I know I can handle it. I know I can tolerate it without injuring myself. And so it really trains all those systems. So progressive resistance exercise, once you've got the mobility in place, once your symptom pain is under control and it's appropriate and safe to do so, you want to gradually increase the intensity of exercise to get stronger in all directions.
And I think what's important, Bria, is that also a lot of those exercises are things that you can do even when you're done with the initial phases of rehabilitation. Like, for example, I still do my neck exercises every morning. I still do the shoulder, kind of like this, the reaching on the floor, right? It's the idea that, yeah, you're done with, the main phase of rehabilitation, but maintaining what you did is going to continue even afterward.
Absolutely. There's a concept in exercise physiology called the SAID principle, specific adaptation to imposed demands. Basically what it means is your body will adapt to what you do. So if you continue doing the exercises, it will continue to adapt to allow for those exercises. Use it or lose it. We've all heard that one before. That doesn't just apply to muscle strength, that applies to everything. If you stop moving, you'll lose range of motion. If you stop lifting, you'll lose strength. If you stop doing any kind of cardio, your endurance will reduce. If you never do anything that challenges your balance will become impaired over time. So things start to diminish. However, if you keep on top of it, you keep doing your exercises, you keep working hard and staying fit, staying active, then you can maintain a good high quality of functional life. And this isn't just have to be athlete level of exercise. This goes for everybody. General fitness does not need to be overwhelmingly challenging. Consistency really is key. Consistency is key in order to maintain good functional fitness. You don't have to be crawling out of the gym. You don't have to be hurting yourself. You don't have to be miserable while doing it. That's one of the biggest challenges I think people have when they get into an exercise program, that maybe pushing themselves too hard, too fast. If you're leaving the gym feeling invigorated, thrilled, and happy that you were there, you're doing it right. If you're leaving the gym or your home, your basement, the park, whatever it is, feeling miserable and beat up and feeling like you never want to do that again, you're probably pushing too hard. Unless you're prepping to join the Eagles or the Phillies and need to push yourself to that limit, maybe that's different. But for most of us, myself included, exercise for the most part should be invigorating and should feel like a very positive part of your life.
Yeah, and that's where I can jump in with my background as a National Academy sports medicine personal trainer nutritionist. My training part of they told us was that, hey, not every person wants or enjoys certain exercise. There's multiple exercises to develop and strengthen and enable the same muscle group. So, for example, if you're someone who says, I hate the Stairmaster, but I like the exercise bike. Well, guess what? Go do the exercise bike. And it's the same thing when it comes to rehabilitation. I feel like one of the things that you guys did with me is you identified, hey, Josh is comfortable with these exercises. Let's get him to keep doing them. Now, it wasn't mean that there were other exercises you weren't like, Josh, you really need to do this. There were certain exercises I hated doing, but you guys still worked them in because you knew I needed them. But there were other exercises you were like, hey, Josh is very amenable to these. And I think that's another thing that you guys do at Higher Ivy Rehab is that you guys say, hey, these are exercises that, makes sense. And you mentioned about professional athletes. It's the same thing for them. There are athletes who, what do they do in the offseason? They don't always train just football. You have guys who would train in mixed martial arts. You have guys who would train in swimming, to improve themselves. So when they get to the season, they're ready to go.
Yeah, absolutely. I think enjoyment is a hugely beneficial part of exercise. Find something you love, find something that you enjoy, find something that you'll do. And sometimes if you need a little guidance, whether it's with physical therapy, if you have an injury, a medical condition that can be treated through exercise, through physical therapy, wonderful. Come to Ivy Rehab. We'll get you in direct access. We'll get you in within 24 to 48 hours, and we'll get your journey started to help you feel better. If it's not an injury, you want to find a good personal trainer, someone who can motivate you, someone who can encourage you, someone who can help you find the type of exercises that you actually enjoy. I'd never like to hear anyone say they don't like exercise. I think that anyone who says that is really thinking they don't like what they think has to be exercise.
Mm.
I don't like running. That's okay. I like doing mixed martial arts. I don't like mixed martial arts. That's okay. I enjoy swimming. I enjoy going for walks in the park. I enjoy biking. I enjoy playing with my kids. I enjoy throwing the Frisbee. There's so many things that we can do to stay active, fit, and functional, and find a path that works for you, and then stick to it. And that's what it takes.
And again, Ivy Rehab Physical Therapy Centers, over 80 locations around South Jersey, best-in-class outpatient physical therapy. And I can say that because they were my physical therapists, and that's what we talked about today. My experience, and kind of extrapolated off of that with Dr. Josh Lamb. Again, we were at the Cape May Courthouse facility. But again, you got over 80 locations all around South Jersey. And, of course, don't forget about the new location coming to Ventnor Heights this fall. Dr. Josh, thanks again.
Thank you so much, Josh. Wonderful being on the program again. Have a wonderful 4th of July weekend.
Yeah, so for those who are wondering what was Josh doing when he was not with Mike Gill on the Sports Bash this week on 97.3 ESPN, that's what Josh was doing. He was working. See, I'm not like some of these other people in the media business. These people, they take time off. They take time off. I'm taking time off to get stuff done. All right, let's get to them text on the other side. 609-403-0973. Jack in Cape May Courthouse, Thea in Mays Landing, as well as Stephen EHT with a follow-up text. I enjoy going back and forth with Stephen EHT because Stephen EHT takes a position, he means it. Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN is always being brought to you by the law offices of Craig A. Altman. And listen, July 4th weekend, accidents happen, slip and fall at work. Whatever is going on, don't let the insurance companies take advantage of you. Hire someone who is located right here in South Jersey. They are located in Vineland. That's the law offices of Craig A. Altman, 856-327-8899. Everywhere I go, I see a car accident in South Jersey. So don't let the insurance companies take advantage of you. Get someone who's going to fight for you, and you pay nothing unless they win. Go to CraigAltmanLaw.com to get your free consultation right now. Whether it's a car accident, a workplace injury, whatever it is, you need a South Jersey personal injury lawyer who's on your side to take on the insurance companies. 856-327-8899. That's who you call. The law offices of Craig A. Altman, or get the free consultation at CraigAltmanLaw.com. We will get the final segment of the Power Hour coming up next. Hang with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN FM, the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of CLC. We are streaming live on YouTube and X in the Dr. Squatch virtual studio.
The Stone Harbor Bar and Grill on 96th Street is Stone Harbor's most complete entertainment experience. Great food, fun, and libations, and newly remodeled for 2026. The same great owners and all your favorite menu items remain, and now we've taken things up a notch with a brand new bar, new sound system, 36 brand new 4K TVs, and more. No matter where you sit, you always have a perfect sight line to the big game, and you've got to try our mouth-watering new menu items. Start your meal with blackened scallops, homemade fried pickles, or a cheeseburger flatbread. Try our new Chicago-style dog, or the Mary Ann sandwich, a chicken cutlet, broccoli rabe, and sharp provolone on world-famous Rando's Bakery Atlantic City bread. The Stone Harbor Bar and Grill sources only the top ingredients and serves up the best quality food. Voted best wings of Stone Harbor and the Jersey Shore by Lord of the Wings. Prime rib nights Friday and Saturdays, rib nights on Sundays, and Mike the Magician Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. The newly remodeled Stone Harbor Bar and Grill on 96th Street in the heart of Stone Harbor. Open 11:30 a.m. till midnight, 7 days a week. Go to stoneharborbarandgrill.com or call 609-961-3534 for more.
Celebrate 4th of July savings happening now at the Home Depot with select appliances starting at $398. Plus, get free delivery on appliance purchases of $398 or more, no membership required. Get a Whirlpool fridge with easy reach zone to keep tall items organized and accessible. And upgrade to a washer dryer tower with UV clean technology to reduce bacteria in the wash without fading fabrics. Shop top brand appliances now at the Home Depot. Offer valid June 17th to July 8th. U.S. only. See store online for details.
Is your trading stopping you from shopping? It's time to drop in some Matt Black Nissan.
Don't freak out about your old car. Trade out. In celebration of 250 years of freedom, Matt Black Nissan and Matt Black Infinity will free you from your old car and pay you up to $4,000 over Kelley Blue Book Fair Trade Value for your old car. High mileage, cosmetic issues, all trade-ins are welcome. New 26 Matt Black Nissan Altima SV, just $99 per month. New 26 Matt Black Nissan Rogue SV, just $179 per month. Plus, the all-new Infinity QX65 luxury crossover SUV is here, and you have to drive it to believe it. Bad credit? Don't sweat it. Our lenders can get almost anyone approved. Come see us today and get up to $4,000 more than your trade is worth at Matt Blatt Nissan and Matt Blatt Infinity on the Black Horse, Pike and Egg Harbor Township.
It's time to drop in some Matt Black Nissan.
39 month lease on Altima, 36 month lease on Rogue, 7727 due to signing, subject to lender approval. Call 877-289-6671 for details. Next trade for the purchase of select models. Offers don't combine, expires month end.
With other language learning apps, I was just playing games. I wasn't really learning. Babbel's different.
Babbel was designed by over 200 language learning experts to be the most effective way to learn another language.
Every time I open the app, I can choose to work on my writing, speaking, or listening. And it saves my mistakes for me to review, so I'm constantly improving. Before Babbel, I thought I just wasn't good with languages. But now I'm speaking French. Tout ça, c'est grâce à Babbel.
Save up to 50% on your Babbel subscription when you sign up at Babbel.com. BABBEL.com.
Summer's here and the heat is on. Attilis Gyms has got you covered with top-tier equipment and their legendary old-school vibe. Whether you're hitting the beach or hitting a personal record, they've got everything you need to stay strong while on vacation. And best of all, no contracts, just fitness on your terms. With 5 convenient locations, Wildwood, Sea Isle, Ocean City, Egg Harbor, and Galloway, your next workout is minutes away. Join Attilis Gyms today.
Progressive's Home Quote Explorer helps you easily find and buy the right coverage for you. It's everything you've always wanted. Well, I mean, as far as a website that lets you shop, quote, and buy insurance in one place. But hey, maybe that is everything you've always wanted. Yeah, people have different types of dreams. And if all you've ever been searching for is a website that helps you choose home insurance rates and coverage, boy, do we have great news about Progressive's Home Quote Explorer. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and third-party insurers. Comparison rates not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy.
When it comes to injuries, you can't afford to get it wrong. Insurance companies, they delay, deny, and pay as little as possible. Who's on your side? The law offices of Craig A. Altman, car accidents, slip and falls, serious workplace injuries. They build cases to put real pressure on the other side. And you pay nothing unless they win. Don't guess, don't wing it. Call 856-327-8899 or visit CraigAltmanLaw.com. Local office in Vineland, backed by a Philly firm that knows how to win.
You're hanging with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN FM.
Hey, you know what? There's another name you might know me by. Star-Lord.
And on the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City.
Who? Star-Lord, man. Legendary outlaw.
Streaming live on YouTube, Instagram, and the X platform.
Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN. Power Hour being brought to you by Cross County Connection, presenting 6 new SJ Connect shuttles, providing fare free transportation across southern New Jersey, connecting to jobs, colleges, healthcare, shopping, government services, and NJ Transit hubs, all at no cost to riders. For details, call 856-327-7571 or visit driveless.com. Yes, it's only a Power Hour today. Hanging with Hennig. We're back to the normal schedule next Saturday here on 97.3 ESPN. Don't forget, Billy Schwein in the locker room back tomorrow from 10 a.m. to noon. And then Billy will be at Blitz's Market with the Chief, Craig Berube, on Thursday, July 9th from 11 a.m. to noon, signing autographs. So come on down, say hi to Billy, say hi to Berube. Maybe you'll get to listen to them curse at each other for an hour in Ocean City. That'll be the highlight of the day probably for some people going down there. Anyone who knows me knows that's there's always the relations Billy Schwein has is always entertaining enough in and of itself. All right. Let's get to the text board. We wrap up here. 609-403-0973. Jack at KMA Courthouse says, what's up, Josh? Happy 4th. Go Phils. I just want to see Schwarber in the home run derby at his own home park. I would love to see it live. And if Ohtani is in, even better. It should be fun. Listen, if you get Schwarber versus Ohtani in the home run derby, I think everyone will be ecstatic. I don't know if Ohtani's going to do it though. Ohtani's an odd individual. Like, he just feels like a guy who doesn't really. He's just there to have a good time and play baseball and be competitive. He's not really there to like put on a show, like a showman. Like Harper is a showman. Ohtani's not really a showman. Thea from Mays Landing chimes is my greatest American athletes of all time: Jesse Owens, Jackie Robinson, Serena Williams, Tiger Woods, Wilt Chamberlain. Well, you gave me all right. I mean, I would say you kind of went with a little more history than you did maybe greatest of all time. I would probably have thrown Michael Jordan on that list personally. Wilt's difficult because Wilt was like the greatest athlete who was on some of the worst teams. So he didn't have like the championship that the Celtics and other teams did. So Tiger's arguably the greatest golfer of all time. Jesse Owens is probably the most important athlete of all time, followed by Jackie Robinson. So I like the mix of greatness and history there from Thea in Mays Landing. I said I would give my list. So my big 5 greatest American athletes, U.S. athletes for America 250. I agree with putting Jesse Owens on the list. I don't think we give Jesse Owens enough credit for what he did for the history of, American exceptionalism. I'm a big Michael Jordan guy, so I got to put Jordan on the list. I like Tiger being on the list as well. I would probably also throw in there, even though I am not a personal fan of his, Babe Ruth definitely needs to be given a lot of consideration. And then the 5th spot for me, it's kind of off the board, but I went up with a little history for July 4th. I'm going Jim Thorpe, the great Jim Thorpe, the Olympian. Thanks everybody for listening. Hang with Hennig, Power Hour, signing off.
Sunday morning in the locker with Billy Schwein, producer Alex Berardis joins me in the studio.